because I want to create something which I can talk about my dad today. Everywhere I go, I can say that man was one of the most successful entrepreneurs, killed it. I wanted my daughter to be able to talk like that about me as well. I want her to be proud of me for what I did. And that's the reason I keep going at it.
Welcome back to another episode of Intrepidus podcast with your hosts, Dan and Anthony. Today, our guest is Ankur Kapoor with Wise Wealth Real Estate Advisors. A mouthful, so I'll let him explain exactly what he does. Welcome to the show.
Oh, well, glad to be here. It's amazing. Thank you guys for having me. So Wise Wealth, as I was saying before, we kept the name because we wanted it to attract. And we wanted to build a one-stop shop for real estate. So when I was working, when I joined real estate, I pitched it to Sal Ventry and I were working together at that time. So I pitched it to him as well. We had a chat about it, that I wanted to create something which was a one-stop shop for real estate where all the investors that I work with, I saw their lives were so busy. They were like, how do I just invest my money and let the job be done? I want to focus on building wealth, because if you're trying to build because I'm an investor myself too. So if you're trying to build wealth, you don't want to be focusing on the lawyers and the lenders and finding the real estate, all that nitty gritty. We got that. So then I started building a team. I got Jason Avon. He works with me. I got Eric. These two beasts that work with me. Our job, along with other individuals that we've tied up with, is to gather real estate off market. We mostly work in off market real estate. It's Jersey, PA, and Florida we're working in right now. So we gather the real estate. We have exclusive investors that we work with, and we just pitch it to them. No email blasts, no putting 1,000 different to investors, not creating bidding wars amongst investors, because that's a big thing. As an investor, if I pitch you a property today and I'm like, the ARV is at $600,000 and I'm pitching it to you at $350, I'm just giving you an example. Mm-hmm. You're going to be like, all right, I want to go in at $350. But then I come back to you and say, you know what? There's a bidding war. Now you got to pay $450. So I'm creating a bidding war amongst my investors. So I'm not a good wholesaler. Right. My job is to get that real estate, give you the best piece of property for the price that I told you at. You move on, and that's it. You continue making your money. We continue doing our job. And that's what we're doing.
So you're the investor's investor.
I'm the investor's investor, yes.
Right,
I'm an investor myself too, so I get the point.
Right. So did that come from a pain point that you experienced at some point? You said, well, this is a lot going on. Like, this is too much for me to do. I wish this was easier. And then this is where Wise Wealth came from?
Yeah. So with certain investments that I have, most of my investments are in India with my younger brother. We invest a lot over there. So when I was investing, I was realizing, as I said, I was like, how do I make it easier for myself in India, being in the US as well, where I'm investing and I don't have to worry about the day-to-day activities? That's where I was like, you know what? Let's just create this and see how it goes. Simple. So I pitched it. Sal and I were talking about it. And from there, we just hit it off. And now we have a very good pool of investors that on one call, ready to move. We have a great team. As I said, 3 of us. And then we have wholesalers that we exclusively work with. And we get it going.
Who's Sal?
Sal was actually our third or fourth podcast. Ventry, really
great guy.
Sal Ventry. Great dude. Yeah.
He's a shark, man. He's doing fantastic. I remember Sal when he first got started, and I think he was driving around like an old Acura or something. And he actually, one of my houses, 2017, he was my realtor. But that dude worked nonstop. And
he works. That's why he's doing it.
Such a brand, and he's a hard worker. But let's talk about entrepreneurship, because I hear the excitement in your voice, and no matter what goes on in life, it's hard not to be excited when you're an entrepreneur, because you see possibility, you see opportunity, and you know what's out there. Where did entrepreneurship stem from in your family?
My father, hands down. That guy was a beast. He raised us to see no defeat. He was like, you got to wake up. Like, I'm not just saying a quote from a movie or something. Literally, that was that guy. He used to work nonstop, and he balanced family life in a very good way too. So we have that in us. But the hustle was impeccable from that guy. And when I lived in India 6 to 7 years out of my life, and when I was there with him, all I saw was the focus. And that in life you have to work to achieve everything. He was that guy who always taught us, if you're gonna fucking be a loser, there's no future. If you're gonna sit at home, there's no future. You gotta get up every day and just go. And that's used to take us, when I used to visit him in India in the summertime, I lived here. Even as a 14-year-old kid, he would take me to the banqueting facilities, restaurants, and he would just be like, this is what we're doing. And he would put me on the floor with the managers and be like, go work with them. That was my summer vacation in India, working with my dad. So, you know, a lot of that entrepreneurship comes from him. And
So I see a lot of people from India come here to the United States, and they take on huge roles, and they become ultra successful. Maybe you can shed on your culture a little bit, because I think a lot of people are going to look at you like, oh, this guy's lucky and this, that, and another thing. I think when you have some kind of success in your life, people ultimately look at you and they feel like that you were handed it. So talk maybe a little bit about your culture. Talk about what we were talking about off camera. When you came here, your dad cut you off. I think that's an impeccable story.
Yeah. So when I moved to India in 2015, I had a restaurant in Freehold, and my ex-wife and I were here. My dad got sick in India, so we're like, you know what? We're just going to move back to India. I wanted to be with my father. I moved back in 2015. COVID hit 2020, fast forward. Until then, in those 5 years, I worked with my dad, got all the knowledge from him, like day and night. We have barely had a relationship before that because I was raised in the US. I'm very fortunate I got to spend those 5 years with my father. But as COVID hit, India was on a lockdown. It was over. Restaurants, everything. So, of course, I always wanted to come back home at some point. That was the perfect opportunity. So I told my dad, I'm going to go back to the US. And being my dad, the alpha male that he was like, you go back, you're cut off financially. I'm going to give you like a little bit of money and that's it. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go back regardless. So we parted off ways with a lot of love, but financially he was like, if you're not going to be here, I'm not going to support you. I came here in 2020, June 18th, COVID at its peak. We came. My dad was like,
Perfect timing.
it was crazy. We got at the airport. We're wearing those body kits. And I had my French bulldog. I had just got at that time, my daughter and my ex-wife, and we're all just like covered, and a dog, and that's it, and bags. And it was the expat flights that started from India. Got here, my dad was like, at some point, I'll give you the money to open up a store. Very successful in India, but just because I came here, he was like, at some point, he kind of wanted me to like hustle and feel the pain of like, I don't know, like leaving a family business, because no one does that. If you're the older son, you're supposed to. So we parted off ways. Well, I came here. I started working at a 7-Eleven to train to open a store. Then I realized my dad was like, he was prolonging the process. I'll give it to you. I'm like, dude, you just got to get up and start doing it on your own. I rebuilt everything for myself. I started working at a 7-Eleven store. After that, I got a job at a restaurant as an assistant general manager, as a GM. And while my family in India is balling, my brother's calling me like driving around, yo, what's going on? I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you, dude. But no, my brother and I were like best friends. But I was like, dude, it is what it is. We got to rebuild. Right. So I worked from 2020 until 2022, December. And then I quit whatever I was doing, the jobs and all. And I was like, I'm going to focus on real estate. And I got into it. I wanted to start investing in the US as well. So I was like, you know what? To invest, I need to learn the industry better. I like to do that whenever I do something. I want to learn all about it. I got my real estate license and that was it. From there, my vision was set nonstop, day and night, all day. What I'd heard from the top producers, Sal was a big part of it. As I said, he did really, hands down, help me a lot in my career in the beginning. And then I have a few other top brokers, David Barrero, based out of Millstone, great guy. So all these guys like really did, the industry does really help you. They started helping me out. From there, I just went nonstop, just all day cold calling, trying to network, meeting individuals. Then the idea Wise Wealth came, and that was it. From there.
So did you start as a real estate agent, start selling some houses, get some listings, or like that didn't really take off for you?
It did. Listen, I closed my first, in a year and 8 months, I have 27 deals. So I did that just with hustling, going out every day. I don't stop. But that wasn't my focus. I openly tell people I'm not trying to be a listing agent or a buyer's agent. I focus on off-market and investors. I have a team, Jason, my guy, he works a lot on the side of listings. He's great. Him and I work every listing together, but I don't do the listing side. He does. I focus my business mostly on off-market.
So what about your team? Let's talk a little bit about your team. How big is your team? What are their roles? What do they do? Because I'm personally curious about the financial advisor space. Is a very competitive space.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting space nonetheless, and has a lot of potential for growth. But I'm curious about what your current team size is and what their roles are.
Yeah. So right now we did have 5 people on the team. I cut it down to 3 because it's a new team. But what I believe in is collaboration. To grow, you have to collaborate. Not everybody has to just be in the team.
Right.
You could grow with having networks
Outside
all
network, yeah.
over. So what I did was I showed my value to the industry first. That this guy is a fucking hustler. He's not going to stop. He's doing what he said he would do. When I got into the industry, I openly used to make videos on my page. I'm going to fucking take over. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get out there and grow a network of real estate investors and all that. From there, when I got to that point where I had like 25, 26 deals under my belt and I have a great network of investors, then I started reaching out to these wholesalers that I saw, these young kids that are out there crushing. I'm talking like 150 transactions a year. No one even knows about these
Dude,
kids.
I know these 20-year-olds out in California, bro. These guys are making millions
Bro,
a month.
it's insane.
Driving around McLaren, like literally buying cars cash. Like,
Yeah.
insane.
This kid pulls up in a M6 souped up G-Wagon, 26-year-old kid. And these kids are crushing it. And I love it. So what I did was like, in that movie American Gangster, the guy just goes straight to the source.
Everyone talks about that.
I called these
it's a
kids
third
one day
reference
at
in
a
the
cigar lounge and I was like, yo, Jason and I were there and I was like, can you guys come and meet us? And they reached out to me on Instagram saying that your buyers look like they move quick. We have a lot of real estate, just for me to just basically give them a buyer pool. And I was like, then I started following one of them back. I was like, these kids got shit coming up every day. So I called them. I was like, why don't you come and meet me? They met me and I was like, listen, is there any way that we can work together and we can grow this network where all your inventory that you get, all I need is 48 hours exclusive with that. After the 48, give it to anyone you want. But 48 is just for myself and Jay and Eric for Wise Wealth. If I can get that, then I can show my investors that we're getting exclusive inventory and no one else has dibs on it because I don't like creating bidding wars, as I said. They were like, listen, we're fully on board. We're going to give you 48 hours exclusive with any real estate that we get. So I got those 2 kids. Now I got another 2 kids in Bucks County, PA, and I'm working with this female in Florida. So what I'm trying to do is collaborate outside the network and get them to work with me because I don't think I've seen a lot of team leaders have like a 30 people team, 40 people team. It becomes, and I'm learning from them. They're like, it's a liability at times.
Yeah.
Because you got overheads. Then you got to, if someone's on my team, I got to be there for them. So with Eric, the kid that joined, that's the only, I get.
Love that kid.
That a beast.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that kid is going to be number 1 in the industry in the next 5 years.
I always wanted to like mentor him. I think I helped him out a little bit in the beginning, and
He was solid.
I just watched him, like, just no matter what, no fear. Start this. Anything that
Insane.
made money made sense. Flip a car, flip it this, do this, open this. You know, it's pretty crazy. You literally said, I quit everything and I went right into real estate. So now let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I think the perception of real estate is, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license. Everyone and their mother wants to get their
I'm
real
so
estate
happy
license.
you're bringing this up.
Right? Everyone wants to get their real estate license because they want to be rich, because they see the G-Wagons, they see the Rolls Royce, they see this, which is a small percentage. Yeah. But at the end of the day, how long did you go? You had 100-something transactions or whatever you said before. How long did you go before you made any money?
So it was different with me, but I put a lot of work into it, bro. I was day and night. Sal would tell you. When I joined Sal's office the first week, he came up to me. He goes, you're going to be a top producer. First week. And I was like, why do you say that? He's like, dude, you're not stopping. A lot of people get into this industry thinking that you get your license, you put that facade. Most agents are TikToker agents. I'm not trying to be like, I love the industry, but there's a lot of people that join real estate and things just going on
That's
social media.
84,000 in just New Jersey alone.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
insane.
And I saw the stats or something. It was like 47% didn't even close a deal last year, or
I
something
think
like
I
that.
think there was 86,000 sold in New Jersey and 84,000 agents. So
Yeah.
like not even
Think
more
about
than
it,
one
bro.
per agent.
It was even now. I see it. A lot of people get their license, get into the industry, and they're like, "All right, now we're gonna start making videos at these coffee shops and all that. Not making the calls, not going out networking, not because every single individual I know that's successful, the most important thing they preach is cold calling, is getting on that phone, is reaching out because nobody's gonna reach out to you if they don't know who the fuck you are. So what I did was I closed my first deal in, I think it was 4 months into the industry. It was a $565,000 home I got off a lead generator. And after that, it was just like a chain effect where I spent 4 months just putting my name out there. I invested a lot of money into myself. I was sending mailers. I was going to every networking event. I was sitting with top producers, putting myself out there because it's out of sight, out of mind, you know? And in real estate, I always say perception is reality, but you have to be able to back that perception up if you're tested. I could go and drive any car I want. Like right now, I'm driving a car, but if I can't show my worth to drive that car.
Hope you're not riding a bicycle.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm sitting here
Nah, bro.
laughing. I'm like, did you fucking ride the bike here? Shit.
I think get dropped off on a bus.
The bike is.
I thought I saw a fucking hitchhiker on the way
I'm
in.
like, yo, the bike is in the back. I walked up like it all cool. But yeah, so I mean, you know, a lot of people, it's like perception is reality. You have to put yourself out there. You have to invest in yourself, make those calls, reach out, sit with top producers. You have to be willing to learn. Spend time in the office watching the pros, how they do it. Because you could be great at one thing, but when you get into real estate, there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And a lot of agents, as much as I have respect for every agent, but are not willing to put the hours into the industry, willing to get out there and hustle, make the calls, everything. I'm telling you, cold calling has changed my career. Eric would tell you, I do at least twice or 3 times a week. Randomly, we'll just pull up the laptop and we have a network of numbers we call. We just start calling and we get at least, I'm saying like out of 50 calls, like 2-3 potential deals.
Can you tell those networks to stop calling me? I sold my house a year and a half ago. They keep calling me. You want to sell your house? I'm like, dude, I don't even have a house.
It's actually Wise Wealth who's calling
Yeah,
you.
and the good thing is we don't do that. We're not the guys that call you and say to you, we are looking at distressed properties.
Yeah.
And we're looking at homes which have, so we don't even go expired or nothing. Yeah. It's straight prospecting, distressed properties. And we get the info and we call them. And our pitch is never, we're agents, we're trying to buy and sell your house. No. Our pitch is always, we're investors looking in the area. If you are interested in selling, we have a network where we can basically make a smooth transaction for you. We're not here to freaking list your home or I don't have a buyer for your home. I am the buyer.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we call or the team calls and their first response is, hey, my name is Ankur Kapoor. I'm a real estate agent. And they're like, fuck off. They cut the phone. They don't want to talk to you. So our approach always is, and I've actually spoken to a lot of agents and they've taken this lead and they've been getting deals because it's, when you get a call and go, listen, I'm a local investor in the area. I'm looking to buy. You know, we've done a few flips. If you or someone you know is looking to sell, let me know. That's it. And a lot of times people will be like, listen, man, I'm not interested, but my neighbor is.
Yeah.
You want to talk to them? And it's the approach. It's the calmness in your voice. It's not like a salesman where you're calling and like trying to like.
Yeah, I'll go like, hi, this is Mike from Century 21. We're talking about your property.
Never,
I go,
man.
bro, I don't own anything. What are you talking about?
I'm not even a real estate. I don't even tell them I honestly just pitch as an investor.
So what is your script like? I'm curious.
Mine is straight up, give a call. Hey, my name is Ankur. I'm a local investor in the area. Just wanted to find out if you or someone you know is looking to sell. And they will be simple. Nothing like.
Oh, no? Okay, thank you for your time.
They'll be like, no, all right, that's it.
How does your team generate leads?
So there's number one thing, we have callers right now as well, 250 calls going out today. We have callers calling homes that have either shown interest in selling on websites, and we have door knockers that knock on doors just getting to introduce the company Wise Wealth, Sometimes people might be like, fuck off. Sometimes people be like, listen, I'm looking to sell, but in 6 months, that goes in the potential leads. So cold calling and door knocking for us is huge.
Door knocking.
Our team is door knocking all the
Dude, you
time.
talk to
What is
some
your
of the
better-
top real estate people? They door knock.
Oh, that's
all
what I was
day.
just talking to my girlfriend the other day. I said
It's huge.
canvassing's a kind of a dead art, unfortunately, but the people who do it are very successful.
Again, with that also, you got to have a very calm approach. Like I randomly, my girlfriend would tell you, she starts cracking up. We're driving on a date and I see a house, we were in Bucks County recently and there was a house which needed a lot of work. And I was like dressed up for dinner and I'm like, yo, hold on. I pulled over. I knocked on the door. This older guy comes out. I'm like, listen, sir, I was driving past. I'm an investor in Jersey. We're expanding investments into the area. And I just wanted to know if you or someone in the area is looking to sell because we're trying to buy around here. The guy was such a great conversation. We spoke for like 4 to 5 minutes, smooth conversation. So I'll door knock anytime. Anytime. And that's the team, the way we're training the team as well. Eric was second day on the team. Eric was like, I want to come with you door knocking. I knocked on one door. The guy didn't open, so I walked away. By the time I walked away, Eric was still standing there. The guy opens the door. And Eric is like pitching him now. Eric is like trying to talk to the guy. It's got to be a very smooth conversation even when you door knock. And I'm telling you, bro, it works.
Did you ever let fear, or in the beginning of your career, in the very beginning, when you were generating leads, making cold calls, knocking on doors, did fear ever get in the way of you actually performing the act?
There were times when I would not door knocking, and it's weird to say door knocking should be more fear because you're in front of the person.
Definitely.
But for me, that's more comfortable. Calls, if I don't see you face to face, because I feel like if I'm in front of you, I'll probably sell anything to you. But on the phone, sometimes I used to be in the beginning.
Right.
I used to be like stutter. I would just be a little nervous. But now it's easy. But in the beginning, on the calls, I would face to face. I'm never. It was just always just like, just go. That's it. Yeah.
Did you ever have like a feeling of self-doubt, like where you feel like, oh, maybe I should have stayed in India with my dad? Like, was there a time where you were like, just like, am I making the right decision? How is this going to progress me? Should I go back? Like, did your mind ever play that trick on you?
Yes, not anymore, but it definitely did. When my father passed away, my younger brother and I inherited some real estate, and we basically started flipping some. We started moving forward, and at that time, I was a little hesitant and nervous. I was like, this was in 2021. I was like, should I just go back to India? And because, as I said, I got divorced around that time as well. And I was thinking to myself, I should just go back to India because it's just so much easier. I could easily go back to India and just blend right in with my brother and just live that glamorous life. But I wanted always as a kid, wanted to build my own. You know, I never wanted to just live off of family money. I always had it in me. If you ever meet anyone that knows me since childhood, they would tell you this guy was like, always, I want to make it on my own. I mean, I never.
Your daughter probably kept you here too, no?
I was gonna, yeah. My daughter,
Or she would have went with you.
She would have, like,
Okay.
she went. So she would have. The plan was, I was thinking, if I just want to go live a great life, I would have worked something out where she would have gone with me. But I could never leave her. But I always, at that time, I was thinking for her future as well, to financially secure her in the future.
What's better?
Should I go back and join the family business? But then I'm glad I didn't because here we are today. You know, just kept going. That's it.
Yeah, so maybe in 2020, what kept you up at night was what kind of car your brother was driving and what you're currently driving. But today, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? I want to be like, honestly, I want to be the best at whatever I do. And I sleep, eat, dream, breathe success right now. And I want to take Wise Wealth to a level which we will only 6 months into Wise Wealth, we've done this. My aim is to take this company and my team that's with me to #1 spot. And I think about it all the time. I'm always thinking of ways to grow the business, collaborate. And I want to honestly, I want to give my daughter the best future possible. And I want to make sure I work my ass off to build this brand and just, keep going. That's it.
You sleep, breathe, eat success. What's success mean to you?
Success means to me. So success to me is not just money.
It's a thinker, bro.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. But success to me is just not money. Success to me is honestly fulfillment. And, as I mentioned before, I recently got in a relationship a little while ago as well. And everything in life now is going towards the path that I wanted it to go towards. So for success for me is 15, 20 years down the road, if I can just be a settled, successful entrepreneur with my daughter having the best life and me living the life that I finally wanted to live with as a married man again, because I'm going to marry this girl, you know, definitely. Yeah.
Oh shit, whoever you are.
Yeah, she knows. Yeah. We speak about it all the time. But yeah. But for me, success is happiness as well, not just money. For me, success is peace of mind. I want to be able to just, honestly, man, I just want to be happy with and have everything set for my family.
I literally wrote out this post that I'm going to post sometime this week. It has a picture of my old house. We lived in this big 4,000 square foot house, 2 Escalades on a front driveway. And I was like in my mid 20s, late 20s. And, you know, to me, success was like, oh, the glory, the money, the this, the that. And what I come to realize is I had everything. We had a nice house. We had cars. We had everything. We had a place out in Cabo. And it was something someone would have died for. I was living the MTV Cribs lifestyle, but I wasn't renting it. I owned it.
Yeah.
But the only thing I didn't own was this place inside of me that was empty that I needed to be filled.
100%, bro.
And I realized that, like, most people strive for success because they think it's the car, they think it's this. But if you could take all that away, which happened to me in 2007, I lost everything. I realized that, like, what was left, my kids were still there, right? Like, so that was the most important thing, and I refocused. And since then till today, money's secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't put money first, and I don't worry about money. And are there times where, like, you know, listen, I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I can go from zero to a hero overnight, and I can go from a hero to zero overnight. And are there times where, like, I don't know if I'm going to have the money to do certain things every day? Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I know that as long as I continue to do the right thing, stay on the right path, focus on what's important, you're always taken care of.
100%. Like you just cracked, like, money is second. Like, family for me, and as I said, like, I've always had this life that I've always envisioned to live with the right person, my daughter and everything. And no disrespect, like, listen, marriage didn't work out, it didn't work out. You know, we're great co-parents, that's it. But I now want to live a great success for me is living a healthy lifestyle with my family. Yeah, I have it all planned out. Like,
marriage didn't work out. Marriage didn't work out.
Marriage didn't work out.
But I'll tell you, one thing I wish that we could be as good co-parents. Like, we are, she's like, won't even entertain that. You know, there's such animosity there. There's just so much hate there. But I think at the end of the day, like, I've taken, and in my post, it'll talk about this, I've taken personal responsibility. Like, what went wrong is my fault. And at the same time, it's the other person's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes everyone wants to blame everybody else instead of looking deep down inside and be like, listen, it was both of us. Like, to come together, it's two. To break apart, it's two. There's always something that breaks the chain. And I think it's just been a hard road. I mean, in 2018, I filed for divorce. We're talking, how many years is that? Like 7 years ago. And my one son, it's like a couple of years, he hasn't talked to me.
Oh, man.
And it's tough. But at the end of the day, like, I know that I'm doing the right thing. The 2 kids that are spending time with me, I'm giving them every single thing I can as far as my time, as far as experiences and everything else. And my other son's missing out on it, which I feel terrible about. I mean, but there's nothing I can do. I mean, I'm not robbing them.
Well, there's a difference, right? You said I give them time, but what you do is you give them attention. People often mix these two things up or convolute them, right? It's like, I spend time with my kids, but do you give them all your attention?
Yeah.
Right. And I see it all the time. It's like, we're out to dinner and I see parents on their phone. I see kids on their phone. Disgusting, by the way. 6 years old on a fucking iPad in the middle of an IHOP and 7
No, we
a.m.
don't allow. My ex and I were very big on the whole going for dinner, no phone. My daughter still, she's 10. She doesn't have a phone. She doesn't have. She 2 years ago, we gave her a phone. Unbelievable. She came up to me last year and said, I don't want this phone, Dad. Because of all the drama with these kids create on these social media, group texting and all. Mm-hmm. She showed me. She was like, Dad, look at the way these kids are talking. She came up to me, 9-year-old she was at that time. We were going through a divorce. We already were divorced, but she was like dealing with that. And then she sees all these, cyberbullying and all that. And I'm crazy. Like, you don't fuck with my daughter.
I bet.
Bro, I was like, I called every parent. I was like, 2 choices. How are we gonna handle this one? Am I
We go out
coming
on
or are
the
we doing this?
streets, or-
Yeah, however you want it.
You take care of
Leave
your
my
kid.
child alone. But
Yeah.
yeah, we took the phone away from her. She gave it to us, and that was it. Let me go for dinner or whatever. She didn't have it. But yeah,
That's-
getting back to what you were saying, 100%. I feel your pain, man. For me, in the beginning, when we started the whole divorce process, we decided it was going to be amicable. We're not going to get through drama, but it didn't. It got very bad. We both sat down one day and we were like, we need to figure this out. Like, our child is getting affected. We put her into therapy, and we had to. I'm not going to be that guy that's like, she doesn't need it. Listen. So we did. And now finally we're at a spot where we can co-parent. That's it. We established we don't need to be best friends. There's a reason we're divorced, because we weren't getting on the same page about a lot of stuff. But we can definitely be good co-parents.
Yeah,
And
that's all I want. Just listen. I don't even need to talk to you on the phone.
Yeah.
But like, could we make the same decisions together versus like, hey, that's dad's rule. It's not my rule. Or when you're with dad, you do this. Or when you're with me, like the stupidest shit. If my
Yeah.
daughter's at the mall, it's like, oh, can you send me money because it's not mom's day? The fuck, you know what I mean? Just dumb shit.
bro, I don't even understand that stuff. I'm like, for me, it's all
My daughter will
like,
be with her mom, whatever, and she'll be like, "Dad, can you send me $10? Can you do it? Whatever." Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal, but I don't press that stuff. But I have a great relationship with my older son. Like, we are super, super tight, and we do a lot of stuff together. But we don't have like intimate conversations about like a lot of stuff. He's very private with like his relationships. But like my daughter shows me those texts, like those group chats with these girls. Dude, these kids bash each other. They're all, and then they talk shit about each other. She's
ruthless.
very open with me. She tells me a lot of stuff. Which
Well, I mean,
like.
I feel like it's different because when I was a kid, I mean, we beat the shit out of each other verbally all
yeah.
the time. You're a F,
Yeah.
the F word, not fuck. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
but
kill
it's not
yourself.
like that. They're putting kids in group chats with pictures of
That's
them,
the
calling
thing,
them names.
bro.
Yeah,
there's,
that's right.
There's like 50 kids in this
It's
chat.
like trying to cut you real deep.
Back-
Actually trying to hurt you. Where
back
like,
in the days
a
when
guy's
we were
conversation's
growing
much
up,
different.
we would have a thing at school. We would go home, no phones, nothing.
Right.
It would be like over the next day. Go back. By the time you get home, you play outside, come home, have your dinner, you go to bed, you forget about that stupid fight. Or you go the next day, you do it again.
Or you fight it out.
Yeah, you fight.
You
That
throw
was my
hands
thing.
and that's it. Shake hands at the end of it.
That
you're
was
done.
my thing, dude. I was like, let's just go.
Yeah.
My
Throw
son,
hands, your best friends after.
my son and his friend, I don't know, I think it was like Friday or Saturday. We were up in the living room, and the two of them against me. So I'm just taking shots, but I'm not swinging through. And like they're like, dude, like, how did you learn how to do this? I go, this is how we fought back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't like try to grab something. We would just go in and beat somebody up.
Yeah.
And now these kids don't know how to fight. Nobody knows how to fight anymore.
We were talking about that, my partner Jason and I a few days ago. Like, nowadays, you see these kids like texting and fighting.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like, yo, back
Keyboard-
in the days.
Keyboard
like,
warriors.
Keyboard
Keyboard
guys.
warriors.
Let's go out right now. We'll see it. But yeah, this whole texting and all is out of control.
It's getting out of control.
It's ridiculous. You can't even like, that's why I'm glad she doesn't have a phone. We stay out of that. But yeah, so for me, that's success, bro. Like,
How do you talk to her?
iPad.
Oh, okay.
She has FaceTime on iPad, everything. And we've established that when she's with my ex, we have a very we'll talk once or twice a day. In the beginning of the divorce, I used to miss her a lot. So I would call a lot to talk to her. And she would call a lot to talk to her when she was with me. Then we're like, gotta have those
Makes you
boundaries.
look forward to your time. Yeah,
Exactly.
Same thing with my daughter. I try not to bother her when she's with her mom.
Yeah.
Just checking how was school. Like maybe I won't do it every day, but then when she comes here, it's like, all right, now you have stuff to talk about. Now you can engage with each other,
Yeah.
and you're not like invading in somebody's space.
No, and I think also finding the right person for me at the moment, the girl that I'm dating, I had given up hope on dating, bro. I was done. I was like, I'm just gonna have fun now. That's it. I'm just gonna go do my thing. But
The dating wholesale market.
I can't speak about that. On this. I'm gonna do
Swipe
too
right
much
in
shit
mass.
for that. But yeah, when I met her, she gets along with my daughter. They're like best friends. And my ex has a boyfriend. My daughter gets along with her really well. So in that aspect, things are great. Like
Your ex has a boyfriend, and she gets along with her very well.
gets along with him.
All right, just
she
making
gets-
sure.
Him.
There's a lot of boys that are girls these days.
Him.
Like, that's why you got
She
the
gets
voice?
along. I
Let
can
it
say-
all come out
I can say
on the
something
Intrepidus
about it.
podcast. We're here for the truth, guys. We're here
Yes.
for the fucking
We just
truth.
like
I'm
to
gonna-
have fun. You know?
Gonna keep some shit to myself right now. Yeah.
No, so jumping back real
Yeah.
quick. You said, Dan asked you how do you define success? I'm curious to know is your dad had a legacy
Yeah.
of some sorts, right? You talk very highly of him. As soon as you walked in the door, you started talking about him.
Yeah.
You had nothing bad to say. Every decision that
amazing
he
man.
made you the man that you are today. So he left a legacy.
Yes.
Is it safe to say, or have you ever considered that what you're doing is to supersede or create a legacy that was bigger than his?
100%. And my dad always used to teach us that. He was like, what I have built should not be what you want you want the bucks to stop at. You want to make sure you take it up 10 notches. You got to work harder. That's one of the biggest reasons, bro, I keep going in all the time. Because I want to create something which I can talk about my dad today. Everywhere I go, I can say that man was one of the most successful entrepreneurs, killed it. I wanted my daughter to be able to talk like that about me as well. I want her to be proud of me for what I did. And that's the reason I keep going at it. I definitely want to build not just Wise Wealth. I want to take Wise Wealth and my real estate in India with my brother. We're trying to build a company there too. So we're trying to create a very successful legacy for our kids.
You're gonna start seeing like your daughter's gonna start writing stuff in school. They're gonna ask her stuff. I actually sent my daughter a screenshot of something I posted. I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago. She the school asks you questions like, who's the strongest person you know? And she was like, my dad, because no matter what happens to him, he always goes through. And I sent her a screenshot of that, like, he never quits. And I think bringing that mentality to your kids is huge. So on top of that, how do you balance the life with your daughter and the life of your business? How do you put that together? And as an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, balancing is the most imbalancing thing in life. But how do you try to put that together?
It was very hard in the beginning. It was extremely hard for me when I started my real estate career, even going through that divorce, everything. It was hard. I was extremely focused on growth of my business, and I was slacking. I'm not gonna lie. Like my daughter would be with me. I would go for showings. I would go look at properties, thinking that she's in it for the ride. She loves it. Then there came a time when she was like, Dad, I don't want to be with you on Sunday today because you're going to be working this Sunday. I'd rather be with Mom because you're on Sundays, Fridays, Saturday, you're always fucking working. So then I was like, you know what, man? You're right. I cut it back. Now when she's with me, I do get calls, but the people around me also know that my daughter is with me. And there's a lot of respect. My partners will jump right in. They'll be like, Ankur's with his child today, we'll take over. And I try to balance it in a way now where I can give her time, my relationship time, because no relationship will last if I don't give her time. She started getting like really upset with me at times. She's like, Dad, you're always working. Always.
My kids will be like, yeah, Dad's always on the phone. But something I talk about, I try to talk about it on a lot of shows is like, if you have a planned trip for this year with your daughter, you want to do something special for her. I think like, let's say Sunday you're with your daughter, you take her out to lunch and you say, hey, here's what I'm going to do this year. And you kind of like bring that into her 6 months prior, 9 months prior about this whole thing that she can envision and look forward to. Yeah. And just say, listen, Daddy's going to be on the phone a little bit more, but when I'm with you, I'm with you. I might just have to take a call, but I'm doing it for you and I'm doing it for this. And you engage your daughter in what you're doing. She's not going to be mad that you're on the phone because she's now going to see that there's a personal benefit.
Yeah.
And when kids and people don't see there's a personal benefit, like everyone will tell you, like at night when I sit down, I'm pre-making my posts that are going out. Like the last hour before I shut down, like just leave me alone. I got to get my day set. I'm not on the phone as soon as I wake up in the morning. I'm doing all that stuff at night, getting it all preset, commenting, getting back on stuff. And they know, like, all right, he's in his mode. Like, don't talk to me, don't do what I got to do, but they know why I do it. So it's important, especially at a young age, by engaging her. So whatever you're trying to do for her, like just like the girl that you're with, like she knows that, and you guys talk about you're going to get married. So she's like, all right, he's in it for the right reasons, and he's doing this with me and for me.
100%.
You do that same thing for your daughter. I'm telling you right now, man, like just getting her wrapped in and what's the benefit for her and what's coming, it's going to be so much easier.
You're absolutely right, but the mindset is so different. When I'm doing that, what you said, she'll go to her mom, and the mom will be like, why is he working? Why is he doing this? So she gets all confused. Then she'll come back to me and be like, wait, Dad, it's not good to be on the phone. I'll be like, Daddy's working. Like you said, like a lot of times I've been like, I'm working for us, baby. you know? So I balance it, but, you know, I try to do that, but it's different mindset.
What does your ex-wife do?
She's got a jewelry business.
A jewelry
Yeah,
business.
yeah. She works hard.
Yeah.
She works hard. But then they have a cutoff time. Respect.
Yeah, the store closes.
Store closes, they go home. This store never closes.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, this store's always running, always going at it. And, you know.
May I promise her, like, let's say, I'm just going to throw something. I don't know what you're doing, but let's say you're going to take your daughter to Disney, whatever. You know, maybe the week that we go to Disney, I'm not going to take any calls the whole time we're in the park.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to use my phone. Yeah, go to the bathroom, check your phone real quick, whatever. You know, but like, just get her engaged in that. You're going to give her that time.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, like, girls especially. Boys are different. Boys don't care. You know
boys
what I
don't
mean?
care.
Girls are different. Like, they know that you're into them. Like, if I'm doing something and my daughter's talking to me and I'm not listening, she'll be like, Dad.
Yeah.
I'll be like, just give me 1 second. Like, she always hits the wrong time, but then I'm like, all right, hold on. I stop. What's up, baby?
Yeah.
Or I go back. If she starts talking, I'll go walk in her room. Like, what's up, you know?
Yeah, I think if I had a
100%.
girl, I'd change my life forever because I'd throw my phone in the fucking river if she said something like, you know, you're on your phone a lot. You know what? This phone's
This is a
gone
good guy.
forever. Like, no more. I'm using rotary phones going forward. You know what I mean? That's why I'm
You have
afraid to have.
kids?
No, but I'm afraid if I have a daughter, my life will just change overnight.
Let me tell you, Matt.
Daughters are the best, man.
Best. Like, she is my best friend.
Oh, don't get
bro.
me wrong. That's what I prefer.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, everyone wants a boy. It's like,
I
yeah,
always
but
wanted a girl.
boys are boys. You know what I mean? Girls are like daddy's little girls. Like
They take care. Like, boys, we're fucking animals. We wake up.
animals. Animals.
Work, this, that, life. Go with your friends. Girls, my daughter, which if she sees that I'm sitting down on a call or sometimes I'm stressed, she'll come up and just give me a hug.
Oh,
I don't
probably.
give my dad a
Everything's
hug.
gone.
I don't went up to my dad
Yeah.
and went like, oh, you look sad today. No, we didn't do that. But she would like come up. Then she would check if I've had dinner. She would check if I've had lunch. She's a 10-year-old kid, you know?
She seems like a
She's-
very, very
Oh,
bright
she's the
kid.
best. She's like,
Very
when
bright
people
kid.
meet her, they're like, she's like 10 going on 30, the way she speaks to people. Yeah, she's
You
a great
condition girls a lot different than you do boys. Like, when my daughter goes off, whenever she leaves us, she just dips her head because she knows I'm going to kiss her on the forehead. Like, there's no conversation about it. She just like, she dips it,
That's it.
and she knows like it's like a routine thing, you know?
Well, people are, I mean, nowadays are coddling both boys and girls the same way. So, you know, you go to California, I bet all the boys are dipping their head too.
And they're probably wearing rainbow socks. But, you know what I mean? That don't happen around here.
So, one of my best friends live in Florida. I mean, in Florida, in California. But
Terrible.
Godspeed to everyone whose house is set on fire in the last couple weeks. That's fucking terrible.
was
But
terrible.
look, we're running out of time. We could sit here and talk
Yeah, man,
shop
this
for
was
fucking
amazing.
hours.
This was amazing.
Tell us a little bit about your customer avatar. Like, who do you target? Who are you looking for currently? And then for the audience, maybe somebody's listening. How do they find you?
So it's Wise Wealth Real Estate Advisors, and my Instagram personal handle is Mr. Off Market Ankur Kapoor. We basically investors. We're looking for. I'm not just investors, agents as well that want to hustle and grow. I want to work with every like-minded individual. Investors are there all the time. A team of individuals that are ready to take over and hustle is what I want. You don't have to be a part of the team. We can work together. I don't care. Like right now, I'm working with a lot of different agents that are with different brokerages that are not on my team, but they have the same hustle from all across. They'll send me deals. I send them deals. So I'm looking for anybody that's willing to grow, hustle, and be a part of what we're doing because we're going to go to the top, bro. So anyone that's a part of the journey, we're ready to go with them.
Guys, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to have, at the end of this video, check the comment section. We're going to have the links to everywhere you can find him. And we appreciate you being on the show today.
Appreciate you guys having me.
And
It was amazing.
If you're not following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, go ahead and do so. We appreciate it, and it helps our algorithm. See you
Thanks,
soon.
guys.